Morning, Eleanor. How are you? Hey, do you know what a mule is? Do you know what animal a mule is? A mule looks a lot like a horse, but it's got long ears. And you know what is weird about mules? They're very, very stubborn. And this book is called Rude Mule. It's by Pamela Duncan Edwards and illustrated by Barbara Nassimbeni. Something like that. Oh boy, so let's see. Rude Mule. Stamping his feet. What would you do if a mule knocked on your door one day and said, "I've come for lunch," and said, you'd say, "Well, hello, come in, mule." Aw, they must be good friends. Look at that. In fact, I think he's been drawing pictures of Mule. Look at that. And his dog. What if he came in and sat down at the table? You'd say, "Mule, wash your hooves before lunch." But what if he said, "Won't"? You'd say, "Oh, no lunch for you then." And what if he brayed a rude mule hee-haw? You'd ignore him until he stopped, wouldn't you? Hee-haw! Oh, look at the dog. He's very surprised. First he's sleeping, and now he's like, "Whoa, what was that loud noise?" What if he got tired of making a fuss and washed his hooves under the tap politely? You'd say, "Would you like some spaghetti?" What if he just said, "Okay"? You'd say, "Mule, say yes, please." But what if he said, "Won't"? You'd say, "Oh, no spaghetti for you then." Oh boy, look how stubborn that mule is. He's being really rude, pouting. Oh boy. And what if he brayed a rude mule hee-haw and stamped his four hooves? You'd ignore him until he stopped, wouldn't you? What if he got tired of making a fuss and said, "Yes, please," politely? You'd serve him some spaghetti, wouldn't you? And what if he began to slurp and gobble? You'd say, "Mule, eat your food quietly." But what if he said, "Won't"? You'd say, "Then we won't be able to play with my train set after lunch." Oh, look at the dog. He's eating the spaghetti. What if he brayed a rude mule hee-haw, stamped his four hooves, and blew a loud bleh down his big mule nose? You'd ignore him until he stopped, wouldn't you? I think the dog's a little scared. The boy's got to pick his doggy up and comfort him. What if he got tired of making a fuss and began to eat politely and quietly? You'd say, "When we play with my train set, you can be the driver." But what if he got very excited and jumped down from his chair? You'd say, "Mule, ask, may I leave the table?" And what if he said, "Won't"? You'd say, "Then my train set will have to do without a driver today." Oh boy. What if he brayed a rude mule hee-haw and stomped his four hooves and blew a loud pleh down his big mule nose and poked out his red mule tongue? You'd ignore him until he stopped, wouldn't you? What if he got tired of making a fuss and said, "Please, may I leave the table?" very politely? Well, then Mule would get to drive the train. And you'd play hide and seek. Oh, we played that, didn't we? And you'd blow bubbles. Do you remember when you blew bubbles with Grandma last week? And you'd both have a wonderful time until you were tired. What if he said, I'm going home now, and got ready to leave? You'd say, Mule, what should you say now? And what if he blinked his big mule eyes and wrinkled his mule forehead and thought and thought? And then what if he smiled a big toothy mule smile and said very politely, thank you for having me. I've had a lovely time. You'd say, come again tomorrow and we'll paddle in my wading pool. And then I bet he'd bray a happy mule hee-haw and clap his mule hooves and blow a quiet plah down his big mule nose and lick you gently with his long red tongue and give you a giant mule hug. Oh boy, they are good friends, aren't they? And then you'd wave goodbye to him very politely. And then you'd go and get your wading pool ready, wouldn't you? Oh boy, he's excited. He's got a paper hat. Oh, look what the dog's got. Some kind of a basket or a can. He's got his watering can. They're going to fill up the wading pool. Very cool. Oh, how fun. Grandma had so much fun playing with you last week, Eleanor. I'm so glad you could come to Grandma's house. Do you see where I am? Look, there's the big fireplace. And there's the door to your bedroom right down there. That's right. Grandma misses you, but I'll keep reading you some stories, okay? Now, did you learn what Mule had to learn? How to be polite. And you're already a polite girl because you already say please, please, and thank you. I love you, Eleanor. Bye-bye.